Good day everyone, welcome to this week's edition of the Vise Squad, brought to you by Togens Fly Shop and Dr. Slick. This week I'm going to tie a little red Doc Spratley. I like to tie them black as well, but Rick requested red, so we'll go with red this week, just for something different. So in the hook, or in the vise, we're going to put a hook, which is a size 8 4 extra long streamer by Togens Fly Shop. This is a 12-aught Nano Silk in red that we'll start with. So we'll just wind that to the back. I'll snip the tag off. For the tail, I'm going to use a teal feather, teal duck in dyed red. And I'm just going to pull a few fibers off the side. Maybe a 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit better. Just off the side of that feather, similar to that. So we'll just pull those right off the side. And I'm going to tie them in maybe just a little bit longer than the hook gap. Something like that. And then we'll just tie those in all the way up. Like so. Next we're going to use some oval tinsel for a rib. Now this is oval tinsel by Danville at size 14, so all the other oval tinsel I have comes in small, medium, large, and this stuff is sort of medium. So it's, we'll tie in on my side of the hook shank all the way down and try and keep it even just so that it's easier to get a nice profile on the body. And we'll tie that in good and tight right back to the tail. Then we'll wind our thread forward, and I'm going to grab my whip finish tool and I'm going to whip finish this Nano Silk off of here. And we're going to switch threads. So for the body, instead of using a floss, I'm going to use some glitter thread, or Midge body thread. It's got several names. This is red. Comes in all sorts of colors. Pretty cool product. So we'll start that at the front. And we'll get rid of that tag. Now all we're going to do with this is just build a nice tapered body. It doesn't need to be huge at the front, but nice for it to have a taper. Alright, so I got a bit of a taper there. This glitter thread doesn't like to lay nice and flat. I typically like to have that nice and smooth. This stuff is just about impossible to get it to lay flat. If you're going to use floss, what I'd recommend is using a heavier denier thread like a 3/0 uni, just to build that up instead of just using like a 12/0 Nano Silk. You just use a whole pile of it. Use a heavier thread basically to build the body. So next we'll grab that oval tinsel and we'll start making some nice even wraps forward. I try and shoot for 5 wraps, just personal preference. If you want more, put more. If you want less, put less. But I like to wrap 5 going forward. And then I'm going to grab it with that glitter thread, a couple turns, and we'll snip that out of there. Next we'll grab a whip finish tool again, and we'll put a knot in that thread, and we're going to switch back to the Nano Silk, which will start behind the eye again. And get rid of that tag end. Now we're going to grab some more of that teal feather, and we're going to make a bit of a throat on the bottom side of the hook, and I'm going to use more of those little barbels than I did for the tail, probably twice as many. Just do our best to keep all the tips straight and even. Now you don't want to go too long, so maybe don't let it touch the hook point, but something like that. It's going to show up pretty good in the water. Now we'll roll that over, and we're going to grab some pheasant tail. This is just natural pheasant tail. If you want to have a darker wing or a lighter wing, by all means switch it up. Use what you got, use what you like. So I'm going to take about an inch worth off the side of that feather. Try and keep the tips as even as we can. When I lay this on here, what I'm gonna shoot for is laying that wing between the tail and the hook bend. Something like that. And we'll tie that in. Trying to keep it all on top of the hook. So I think we're pretty close there. A couple nice tight binding wraps there. And we'll snip out the excess. Clean that up. Next we're gonna grab some Peacock Herl. This is what I've got today is Peacock Herl dyed blue. I just think it looks pretty good. It really shimmers. A little more so than natural peacock. So now before I wrap this, I always like to kind of preen all those little fibers backwards to get them to stand up real nice. Makes it more fuzzy looking. So then we'll just wrap those two strands together, working forward right to the eye, and then a couple wraps with the thread. You should be able to break them out of there, and a few wraps. Clean it up and a whip finish and we're done. Alright, so now this week for the giveaway, I think we'll just, whoever comments first below the main video feed that you'd like these, we'll send them out to you. I've tied, I don't know, probably half a dozen or a few better than that than already of these, so there'll be a few flies going out this week along with this giveaway for you to try out and fish. I'd like to thank you all for watching, taking the time out of your life to listen to me rattle on. If you'd like to go over and check out our sponsors, please do. Dr. Slick, fantastic fly tying tools. You can't beat the scissors, you can't beat it. It's just incredible. I love it. And Togens, they've got an ever expanding library of materials. I saw this week that they brought a bunch of new stuff out, which is pretty exciting, and I'm looking forward to get my hands on some. Thank you to Rick with Goes to 11, doing a great job editing this and keeping my life in order with it all. And check out our other hosts. Kyle Kelm is a fantastic fly tyer. Go look at his stuff. Anyway, I'm rattling on. We'll talk to you next week anyways, and thanks again for watching, everyone.